Good afternoon, Mayor, Councillors, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Karen Taylor, Director of Financial Audit from the Audit Office of New South Wales. Sorry I couldn't be there in person today and hope this electronic presentation works well. This was my second year on your audit, overseeing the work of Pitcher Partners, our audit service provider. Before I go into the specifics of the audit, I would like to discuss our role and journey so far. As most of you would be aware, the Auditor General received the mandate to audit local councils in October 2016. Parliament expects this mandate to provide greater consistency and confidence in councils' financial data, improved governance and accountability, better benchmarking across the sector. The journey so far has been both challenging and rewarding, but the opportunities to make a difference in this sector are immense. We have come to appreciate how unique the local government sector is with its own challenges and opportunities. We take this into account in the diversity of our audit approach and our reports. So what is an audit? Our role is to provide independent assurance on the financial statements and supporting schedules prepared by management and endorsed by Council. We report our findings to management, Council, and eventually to Parliament. The Auditor General tabled our first financial audit report on local government to Parliament in April 2018. We identified insights around financial reporting, financial performance and sustainability, asset management, governance and internal controls, and information technology. With this report on our website is a short video presenting the high-level findings. It was also the first time we did a data visualization tool for the sector, which can be used to assess and benchmark councils' performance against neighbouring councils or any council you choose. We will highlight our findings, insights and areas of improvement identified for the 30 June 2018 audits in our next report to Parliament, which is scheduled for tabling in March 2019. The Auditor General's mandate extends to performance audits, which are funded by Treasury. The slide showing the 3 performance audits that we have completed and tabled to date. The next 3 performance audits are currently in progress, and they are waste management, amalgamation, managing staff implications, and development applications, pre-lodgement and lodgement. The audit program post 30 June 2019 is currently being developed and will be published on our website. There are also state government agency audits that may be of interest to Council. They include property asset utilisation, managing native vegetation, and recycling strategies. Anyone can subscribe to get updates from our website on our publications. For the first 2 years of the mandate, the Auditor General decided to partner with many of the previous audit firms to manage the huge increase in the number of audits. It was like a 30% increase. This also aimed to reduce disruption to the sector. We performed 12 audits ourselves over the last 2 years and are quickly developing our understanding of councils. This year we will bring in a further 10 audits in-house to give us wider experience in all regions across the state. We conducted an open tender process to select the audit service providers to partner for the remaining audits. This is to ensure audit costs are set through a competitive process. This will also provide continuity for the next 5 years. Deloitte were the successful firm for your council, and planning for the 2019 audit will commence shortly. Moving on to your key financial results for 2018. This is showing that your rates and annual charges increased by $3.4 million or 5.9% this year, primarily due to the special rate variation of 6.5%. Grants and contributions revenue decreased, mainly due to the timing of when the financial assistance grant from the Commonwealth was received. This was a common issue across the LG sector, with less quarterly payments recognised this year compared to last year, meaning most councils had a drop in that revenue item. The overall operating result was $22 $0.1 million, and capital grants for bridges and roads in the current year were higher than last year, causing the net result before capital amounts to drop by $2.2 million. Councils hold and maintain many different asset classes, such as water and sewer, roads, land and buildings. The Office of Local Government requires infrastructure, property, plant and equipment to be reported at fair value. This requires each asset class to be comprehensively revalued regularly. This is typically every 3 to 5 years. This year, Eurobodalla Council revalued land and buildings. This resulted in buildings increasing in value by $34.9 million, whilst land reduced by $6.7 million. An independent expert performed the valuation, and the audit performed procedures to ensure the result was reasonable. An index was applied to water and sewer assets as required by the Office of Local Government, resulting in a $2.8 million increase. Looking at cash and investment balances, they continue to be healthy. However, most of that cash, of the $113.2 million, is restricted. Council has $6.2 million in unrestricted funds to use for day-to-day operations. The overdraft has not been used as Council has sufficient funds to meet these needs. Most of the externally restricted cash is for water and sewer purposes. So Note 22 to the financial statements presents the income statement by fund, water, sewer, or general fund. You can see improvements in the water and sewer fund performance. The movement in the general fund is mainly due to the timing of financial assistance grants and fluctuations in grants and contributions. Note 23 in the financial statements contains the performance measures set by the Office of Local Government. Council has exceeded the benchmark for all of these measures. The operating performance ratio is an indicator of Council's ability to contain its operating expenditure within the confines of its operating income. The OLG has set a benchmark of 0%. Council's operating performance ratio is 5.8% in 2017-18, continuing to exceed the industry benchmark. So this graph shows the operating revenue broken up by source. You can see the yellow column is the 2017 operating revenue and the grey column is the 2018 operating revenue. As on an earlier slide, rates and annual charges has increased. Grants and contributions has decreased in operating due to the financial assistance grant timing. Slight increase in capital grants and user fees and charges, and the other categories have remained static. This next slide shows operating expenses by type. The yellow column is the 2017 figures and the grey column is the 2018 figures. Employee expenses costs have increased, but this is consistent with the growth in revenue. All other expense categories have been quite static. The next performance measure is own source operating revenue ratio. This ratio measures Council's financial flexibility, determining the degree of reliance on external funding sources, such as operating grants and contributions. The OLG benchmark is 60%, which is indicated by the line across the graph. As you saw in the operating revenue by source chart, Council generates income from various sources. And you can also see on this graph that Council is exceeding the benchmark. This shows Council's unrestricted cash ratio result, measuring the adequacy of Council's working capital and its ability to satisfy short-term unrestricted obligations. This ratio removes externally restricted cash in calculating current assets over current liabilities. Council's healthy cash position, including internally restricted cash, means they have no problem meeting this benchmark. The next ratio is the debt service cover ratio. This measures the ability of operating cash to service debt, including interest, principal, and lease payments. The higher the number, the greater the council's ability to service debt. The benchmark is greater than 2%, which is the black line across the chart. Again, the healthy cash position means council is exceeding this benchmark. Now to the audit result. This year we issued unqualified audit opinions for the general and special purpose financial statements. An unqualified audit opinion is a clean opinion. This means any material errors and omissions identified during the financial year by management and the auditors were corrected in the final version. Council has an Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee who review the results of the audit. Also, management and I briefed Council last week on the outcomes of the audit and answered any questions they had. So to wrap up, as you can see, it's a good result for Eurobodalla Shire Council. They were able to meet all 6 performance measure benchmarks set by the Office of Local Government. They have a positive operating result and a healthy cash balance. Thanks for your time today.